Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is all about air fryer recipes. These were all amazing. They are keto, but even if you're not counting your carbs, you are going to love them. First up, we have coconut shrimp, and oh my goodness, this could not be any easier, and they were absolutely amazing. I'm going to start out by making the dipping sauce, so I'm just combining some mayo, a little bit of lime juice. The recipe called for honey, which I was out of, so I substituted maple syrup and it worked out just fine, and then some salt and pepper. You also want to dice up a serrano pepper and then whisk all of that well together to combine. I will have all of these recipes linked in the description box for you below, but I will let you know I did have this recipe, but I didn't have the amount of the serrano pepper. My husband didn't mind the heat, but just keep in mind that I did kind of mess it up there. That's why it looks like there is a lot of pepper, but it really was delicious. Now we just have to set up our dredging station, so I went ahead and mixed together an egg with some salt and pepper, and then I changed the recipe here. Instead of regular flour, I did almond flour, and then I seasoned it with salt and pepper. And then the last station is going to be some unsweetened coconut, and then I did follow the recipe and use the panko breadcrumbs, which are not keto friendly, so you could do crushed up pork rinds if you are following keto, but we just wanted something that was lower carb. That was the only part of this that wasn't following that. So you're just going to take your shrimp, make sure that they are peeled and deveined, and then you just want to put it into the flour, then into the egg, and then into your coconut mixture. And I got a little bit nervous because I saw that the almond flour was kind of like clumping a little bit, but this came out perfectly, so I did not need to be nervous. And it could not be any easier. It was such a quick dinner to throw together, and these would also be a great appetizer as well. Now the recipe does have instructions for baking these in the oven, but I did mine in the air fryer, so I just went ahead and sprayed it with a little bit of avocado oil. Place the shrimp in. You do want to do this in one layer, so depending on how much you're making, you may want to do it in the oven if you don't want to do several batches. Sprayed it with a little bit of oil on top, and then I just put this at 390 for 6 minutes because I did have jumbo sized shrimp, and then I did flip it halfway through the cooking time and then brought it out, salted it after it came out, just a little bit of finishing salt on top, and then it was ready to serve. I just wanted to show you how well everything stuck to the shrimp and how perfectly crispy it came out. The next recipe is for these air fryer chicken tenders, and I served it alongside some fried cabbage. So I'm going to start out by showing you that recipe. This was absolutely amazing. If you haven't had fried cabbage before, it's just so delicious. And this one is absolutely amazing because it also has bacon. You can't go wrong with bacon. But you don't have to have the bacon if you prefer to leave it out. But for this recipe, I just went ahead and cut my bacon into little strips, and then I always start my bacon in a cold pan and just let it render down completely. Even if you don't want it extra crispy like I like my bacon, you want to cook it this way just so the fat renders out properly. But once that has become nice and crispy, I'm going to just remove it from the pan, and then I took out some of that extra grease because there was just too much in there and we didn't need all of that. But I left a little bit in the pan, and then next I'm going to add in some diced onion, and then we're just going to saute the onion until it starts to soften. And once it started to soften, we're going to go in with our sliced cabbage. So I went ahead and sliced up the cabbage while my onion was starting to soften in the pan, and I'm going to show you how I did that. I just cut the end off, and then I cut it in half. I was only using half of it for this recipe, and the other half you're going to see in the next recipe. And then I just cut it into half again, so into quarters, and then just thinly slice the cabbage. And then you can throw this in the pan, and then you just let this really cook and wilt down, and it just kind of caramelizes with itself. It's so delicious. So like I said, if you've never had fried cabbage or sauteed cabbage like this, it is definitely a game changer. Now, usually when I make fried cabbage at home, I will just do the onions and cabbage and some garlic, and that is absolutely amazing. But this recipe was a little bit different, and we really loved it. And I was actually really surprised because my husband loved it as well. But once you have everything sauteed and rendered down, like cooked down, you're going to go in with a little bit of Dijon mustard and some paprika. Give that a good stir, and I just let this cook for like another minute or so, and then this was ready to serve along with the chicken tenders. Oh, and I almost forgot, you want to add your bacon back into your cabbage and onions. I always do that at the very end, so that way it stays as crispy as possible, because for me, I can only eat bacon if it is really crispy. Now, while I was preparing the cabbage, I went ahead and made the chicken tenders. And again, we're going to do this in the air fryer. So I'm just combining some almond flour with some parsley, garlic powder, paprika, and salt and pepper. And then you just want to stir everything well together to combine it. And then we're going to set up our dredging station again, like we did with the shrimp. And when I do these stations, I find it easiest just to use pie plates because they're shallow. It's just easy to get everything in and out. So if you've never tried that before, it's just a really easy alternative, but it has enough of a lip, like more so than a regular plate, so you don't have to worry about like eggs or anything like that falling out of it. So just a little tip there. But then I just scrambled a couple of eggs with some salt and pepper. And for this recipe, you're just taking your chicken tenders, or I took chicken breast and cut it into strips. And then you're going to dunk it into the egg mixture and then into your almond flour mixture. So you're just going to repeat this process until all of your chicken is ready. And then again, we're cooking this in the air fryer. So I went ahead and sprayed my basket with the avocado oil, and you want to put this in a single layer. And then this is also going to cook at 390 degrees. And for this one, I did 7 minutes, and then I flipped each piece over and then put them in for another like 4 to 5 until the chicken was cooked all the way through. Now this recipe does have a dipping sauce, a sweet and spicy dipping sauce that looks amazing, but we did not make it because we weren't wanting to eat it this day. It's not keto friendly, but I'm sure you can kind of alter it if you were looking for a sauce that you, and you wanted something that was keto friendly. But again, the recipe will be linked in the description box for you below in case you're interested in making it. But these came out perfectly crispy, absolutely delicious. Up next, we have this chili lime tilapia, and this is probably my favorite recipe in this video. I was shocked at how easy it was to make and how perfect it came out. So I'm going to start out by making the spice mixture for the fish, which is just some chili powder, cumin, garlic powder, oregano, salt, and pepper. And then I just gave that a good stir. And then for my fish, I just had frozen tilapia fillets that I thawed. And then I just made sure they were pretty dry, like patted them dry with a paper towel. And then went in pretty heavily with the spice mixture on both sides of the fish. And then you just pop this into your air fryer at 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes. And it comes out perfectly cooked. I did, like the other recipes, spray the air fryer with the avocado oil spray, and then I sprayed the fish on top too. And I'm telling you, this came out perfectly flaky. And one concern I had was when you cook with the air fryer, your whole house smells like it. And both my husband and I were like, oh my gosh, our house does not smell like fish. So little surprise there, but a good surprise. And then I just made a little slaw to go with it. So I took some avocado oil mayo along with some hot sauce and a little bit of lime juice and garlic powder. Whisked that well together and added in a little bit of salt and pepper. And then I added in the leftover shredded cabbage that I had from the previous recipe, and it was amazing. So if you've never had this before, you kind of just want to adjust it to your taste. So I ended up adding in a little bit more hot sauce and a little bit more lime juice. But this is a really quick, easy slaw that is amazing on all sorts of tacos. So whether they're regular tacos, fish tacos, chicken, whatever you prefer, it's just really, really good. So I went ahead and threw that together. And then you're going to see the fish here, how perfectly cooked it was. I cannot tell you how impressed I was with this recipe. You have to give this one a try for sure. And then for the tortillas, I used these keto coconut and cauliflower tortillas that are grain-free. And then my husband used the almond flour siete tortillas, also grain-free, but they're not keto. So you can obviously use whatever kind of tortillas you like. Even if you're not doing keto, use regular tortillas. These fish tacos are amazing. I really hope that you enjoyed seeing these recipes in today's video. And if you haven't done so already, I would love for you to subscribe and join my YouTube family. And I will see you in the next video.